Start talking the minute I see. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome again to a big new year of incredible stuff. Viewing the skies and talking about it and meeting together. New Year 2023 as we launch, just like NASA launches, our 97th edition, ladies and gentlemen. Santa Barbara Astronomical Units Weekly blog podcast we call the SBAU Astro Hour. I'm Baron Ron Heron. Actually, I've gotten rid of the Baron. That doesn't do me any good anymore. It's radio term of our past. January 2nd through the 8th. It's 2023, keeping the club alive by chatting with the Brain Trust virtually online using our new Zoom account about the latest in space news, checking out the night sky, etc. Here are today's topics, if we can get to them, despite the coming full moon. Check out the asterism Kemble Cascade and the quadrantid meteor shower. Did I pronounce that right, Mr. President?
Close enough.
All right, quadrantid. Well, we're going to find out how that's kind of cockeyed. And Earth's perihelion. We're at perihelion. We should be hotter, but we're not. Closest to the sun. Mars is in its winter wonderland, and a couple of brand new minerals found in a big meteorite. It's fascinating new stuff. Is our universe in a metatastic state, or excuse me, metatastable state?
Metastable.
Metastable?
Oh, metastable?
No, metastable.
Yeah, I never met
meta.
a stable I didn't like.
You're right. It's a new word to me. I get that way sometimes. What does that mean? We're going to find out. We also add on a new crescent nebula we'll be talking about with the Brain Trust. Here's the president, now going on 6 or 7 years, Jerry Wilson of the Forgy Wilson Institute.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for the card. And Pat Forgy, I assume she
has a company that she calls Path Forward that does strategic planning for businesses.
Is that right?
Yeah, it does.
Well, Jerry's a beloved president and knows this stuff. Let me tell you, veteran of the old Hollister Avenue Research and Development, as is Chuck McPartland, our longtime outreach coordinator in front of the Ukrainian flag. He's also married to a wife named Pat, merchandise manager. We've just been joined by somebody, but let me introduce Tom Whittemore first, former Westmont College science instructor, now baker for Sara Lee Breads. His wife is Maureen. And wait a minute, don't leave us. Is there something I said, Bruce? Oh, he's having his breakfast.
It's too bad.
Hello, Bruce Murdoch.
Oh,
Whose wife is having his breakfast with us, and he's president of the Santa Barbara Theater Organ Society, that his real heart is with us and his telescope and all the incredible cosmos. We didn't get a lot of silly stuff, but we like to start out with whatever forwarded President Jerry silly science cartoons we can share with you. Here they come. Happy New Year. That's a new one. There they are, the Far Side Crazies.
We only got 3 good ones this month. There were a lot of cartoons, but a lot of them had political overtones. I don't like to do those. And some of them were just crass.
Well, unless you just sent this out, Mr. President, I don't remember it, nor do I remember this one. Huge space news. Astronomers have discovered a new Lagrange. Oh, I did get this one. A new Lagrange point. That's where the Webb is sitting a million miles out. This one's just outside Cleveland. You'll find L6. Okay, we're going to put something there, I assume, in an orbit. Am I missing the point of that? It is kind of silly. All right, this looks like an
it's outside of Cleveland that they want to get rid of.
Oh, is that right? This guy changing his name, 4-box cartoon with an orange bearded muscular man. Just realized scientists no longer know or use Latin. So he presents himself before a crowd saying, I'd like to get my name changed. Actually, he goes, where do you go to get a name change? Local county clerk? I had trouble deciding where the heck is he? Where do you get a name?
Just publish it in the paper.
Is that what it is? You can do it locally. All right. Hello, everybody. He says to our group, my name is et al., which is the most cited researcher in history.
The audience gasps.
Needs extra. Well, okay, whatever. That's a good cartoon. I like that one. esteemed
On
gentlemen.
some of our property deeds, my wife is called Et Ux.
Yeah,
And that really got her attention.
And this is the brand spanking new web-induced or web-produced, web-shot something at Christmas time of the Horsehead Nebula. It's now in Lapland. My God, look at,
This is the new, it's the Reindeer Nebula now.
if you look real carefully at its nose, there's a giant red giant star.
Yeah.
So we know which reindeer it is. That's it.
Where his nose is.
Or his nose is. That's it. We don't get the early morning comet shot. Remember, you sent us a shot of 2022 E3 ZTF.
No, I
That's
don't
not really a
remember that.
cartoon.
That's not a cartoon, but
No.
okay.
Yep.
We got a meteor shower to talk about. We got Camelo Pardalis, Constitution.
Say camel first.
Camelo Pardalis and
Yeah.
his orchestra.
Camelopardus, yeah.
Okay, interesting stuff. That would be the camel. No, there's no camel up
It's
there.
a
Giraffe.
spotted camel. It's a giraffe.
Crap.
Yeah.
Oh, are giraffes and camels related? Are they close?
Yes.
They
Yes,
are.
they are dromedaries.
And llamas and alpacas. Well, that's first in the Jerry Wilson talking point, so might as well just scroll right down. To
Well, this is something that we have talked about before, and I just wanted to show what's available. I explored parts of my planetarium software, and I know the Baron has remembered the point that most of the stars in the sky or about half of them are binary, and a tremendous number of them are variable also. But Kemble's Cascade is a very nice asterism. It's not a constellation. It's in the constellation of Camelopardalis, you see here. And this is basically it here. There's a central bright star, and there's a wing, almost a linear progression of stars here, another progression of stars here, and then an open star cluster down here. And it's very nice.
In binoculars.
what about the even larger one above it? Isn't there a cascade up there, a little angled staircase? Or am I just imagining?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, right above what you just pointed, you pointed at what looks like about 4 or 5 stars, and above it, maybe.
Yeah. No, the entire thing, the one above it and the one below it, that's the cascade. The whole thing,
both. Oh, so the two of them together.
with a star in the middle. And it's only an apparent linear feature.
Wow.
Best viewed in binoculars, Ron.
Okay, and it's named for somebody named Kemble. Although I don't
Yeah,
know.
Kemble,
Father
Priest.
Kemble, Father Lucian.
Canadian priest.
yeah, it was called a waterfall pattern, and the open star cluster at the bottom is the splash where it hits.
Yeah, 1502.
Yeah,
If you have a
And
big
so this-
scope, 1501 is there too, Jerry. It's a nebula.
okay. So there's some nice nebulas over here too. It's a good region. But what this shows now, I have the planetarium software highlight all the various stars in the field. So everything marked with red, or little brackets around it, which you can't see unless I blow it way up.
Now it swings around Polaris, the North Star, is it?
Yeah, this is something that never sets.
So you'll always see it. Where is Polaris in that picture?
No, not this picture now. I zoomed way in. This is looking at the core of Camelopardalis. But the point I want to draw your attention to is these stars with the red around them. See that one there?
Needs
Okay.
some nice.
That's a variable star. So I've had the planetarium software highlight all the known variable stars in this field. So each one of these could at some point become the variable star of the month. That will get us into the next century.
Looks like some of them have question marks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the down here, there's one, yeah. Yep.
Because they're red, they're going to become variable. They're not red giants or red
No,
dwarfs.
no, this has nothing to do with the color of the star. This is just an indicator color on the program,
Oh, I see. Okay.
just highlight in red.
Now, my understanding is the most stars in the universe are red dwarfs, but we can't see them. Is that about right?
They're difficult to see, but you can see them. You're not going to see them far away
Okay.
easily.
But
So
most-
this is the so this gives you an idea of the population of stars that are variable.
Mhm.
And I'm using a Kemble's cascade picture for that purpose. Now, the number that are binary or trinary are shown as the white things here.
Wow.
Wow. Is there a binary system out there anywhere in the night sky that you can actually see the two stars with your naked eye going around each? Are they all?
Yes, many. One is in the Big Dipper.
Yeah.
Yeah, two are in the Big Dipper.
Oh, okay, good.
Well,
So these,
Ron was asking if you can see the motion, and no, I think you need a
Oh.
telescope for that.
oh, you see the two stars, and if they're wide enough for you to see them with the naked eye, you are not going to survive long enough to see any appreciable motion.
They take their time getting around each
They,
other.
they take, yes. Now this one is actually showing a star and a little buddy next to it. And that's why they all look like they're little footballs. But you see the number of them. In this case, it looks like most stars are, see, here's a binary, and there's two stars that are not binary. So it looks like the binaries outweigh the single ones. Also highlighted here is this little red circle, which is a planetary nebula.
Now, the reason they all look like birds flying on the water is that you had to leave the lens open a few seconds, get good light, and so they moved on us.
No, this is not a photograph. This is a computer program map. It's generated by a computer. And so you can make the object that you want to see, you can make it look like anything you want. You know, little Waldos all over the place for double stars.
Yeah. And that planetary Jerry is likely 1501.
Yeah.
You can see an 8-inch scope pretty easily.
Right there.
Mhm.
And again, the now it's getting lost in there, but the open color is right here.
It's still Kemble's Cascade, or is it something
Kemble's
else?
Cascade is
Yeah.
right in here.
Yeah.
I just used Kemble's Cascade pictures to show you this so that you get a visual impression of the number of what it means that so many stars are binary and that so many stars are variable. It's not just a bunch of stars sitting there and a few here and there are in these oddball categories. For scientific inquiry, this is a wonderland, a target-rich sky.
But you know what occurs to me? Father Lucian Kemble must have had some sermons. Do you suppose he ever told his flock about any of this? Because you never hear this from preachers. Hey, God's universe has just expanded. We found a new cluster. People wouldn't care. I just wonder if he actually put it in his sermons.
That depends on where he was. The Islamic world seems to have a better handle on astronomy than the Christian world did. In my opinion, not to start a controversy here, but they're out in the desert under the stars, very dark skies, not much rain, not much cloud, a lot of clear nights. A lot of our knowledge of mathematics and science comes from the Islamic world.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Zeus was big
The,
on
words-
constellations.
What's
The
that?
letters AL mean the
Yeah.
in Arabic, right?
Yeah,
Algebra,
Really?
Aldebaran.
They came up with algebra and Newton came up
Yes, they
with
did.
calculus.
Yeah.
but most importantly, they came up with zero.
Oh,
Mhm.
yes, yes, yes.
Well, that was India, I think. They imported it from there.
I don't know where they got it, but we got it from translating in medieval times. We got it from monks translating Islamic texts back to English or back to Latin.
And
Okay.
All right. You want to go to the meteor shower now, Mr. President?
Oh yeah, this is a close-up of Kemble's Cascade by itself.
Pretty.
White star in the middle, long line. It just tumbles down like a cascade and then splash into the open cluster.
Yeah, it kind of breaks at the end too. It's
Yeah.
really nice. Mhm.
And the
So there was no internet to distract them, so they were making up things to for descriptors for the sky. Okay,
all righty, sounds good to me. I learned something. Yeah, we did visit that topic before, Kemble's Cascade.
yes.
Mhm.
There's another meteor shower, but is this more on Kemble's?
No,
No.
we're on to the Quadrantids. And apparently this constellation here is about in the region where the Quadrantid were, where the defunct constellation of Quadrant was.
Well, Boötes existed, but they were using one of these empty sections of it as the Quadrans Muralis.
Okay.
Right. Just a wall. Right, Chuck?
Yeah, it was named after Tycho Brahe's big wall quadrant that he used
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Uraniaborg to make fine measurements of the stars.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Latin word for a wall is mortis, and moralis is of the wall.
I thought the word
the-
quad denoted something four of something.
One quarter of a circle.
Yeah.
Oh,
At
okay.
the Greenwich Observatory, there's a great big quadrant on the wall of the main hall there.
Okay, and it's one of dozens of meteor showers we get every year now.
Quadrants were the dominant astronomical instrument before telescopes were invented.
Well, is anybody out watching them now that we've gotten rid of well, it got overcast again today, didn't it? It was a nice weekend pretty much, except for Friday. But lately we've been getting some.
Yeah, it's going to rain. The shower's a pretty good one, about 110 meteors per hour they're expecting. And as pointed out, logically, meteor trails are the shortest near the radiant and longer to either side of that. Any guesses why that is?
Because you're looking at them end on.
Yeah,
You mean coming right at us?
yeah, coming right toward the center, toward the epicenter of the meteor shower. The meteors are coming right at you. If a meteor comes exactly right at you, all you see is a bright dot and then it disappears. Definitely UFO territory. So this will be early Wednesday morning, sunrise. But after the moon has
Wednesday
set,
morning is different than this morning.
No,
well, I don't know. It's you might have to be up on mountaintop somewhere because I think it's going to rain on Wednesday.
This is
Oh,
a
yeah.
big
For us
storm
here.
coming up.
It's a huge one.
Yeah,
there'll be no looking tonight, but is the Boötes a constellation?
Yes,
Boötes the herdsman.
he's a
Right there.
herdsman.
Okay,
Yeah.
but what,
you can see he's raising his club to drive coyotes away.
Right. Yeah, he has 2 dogs. Right, Chuck?
Yeah, that's his arm holding up the leash, and off to the
Leash, yeah.
right there, there's Canis. You'll have to pronounce it, Tom.
Oh, yeah, Canis Venetici. That's
Yeah,
how
the
it's-
hunting dogs.
Yeah,
And Corcaroli's over there in Chara. So the dogs' names are Chara and Asterion,
yeah,
and they're
So-
chasing a bear. So to the Greeks,
That's right.
that's what keeps the sky moving.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Arcturus down there, the red giant that's at the base of Boötes, it means guardian of the bear.
Right. And the way it
Arcturus.
comes up is really interesting. So this constellation, when you can see it, this constellation is clearly up by about 2 a.m. And Boötes comes up kind of on his side. So what I actually first see is Mufried. Then I see Arcturus and then Izar. It looks like a little hockey stick when it comes up.
but used to be Quadrans Muralis, or is that?
No, an
Yeah.
empty part of it down there used to be Quadrans Muralis.
Yeah.
And that was never accepted as a constellation, so it's not. part of the
It was
88
for a while, but it's not in the official list of 88 that the International Astronomical Union came up with.
It got chopped in the 30s.
But I've
It was
also,
an early version of what happened to Pluto.
oh, okay, but I've also heard there's a Boötes void a big blank area out there in the universe where there's nothing. Am I right on that? That word
I'm
definitely,
not aware of anywhere where there's nothing.
Well, there are these big voids, and there's probably one in the direction of Boötes. Yes.
Yeah, it depends what scale you're looking on.
okay.
But M13 right over here, one of the prettiest
Yeah,
globular clusters in the sky in the Hercules, and this is the keystone of Hercules.
And M3 also just to the right.
yeah, gorgeous. Yeah, and don't forget 92. It's really nice. I often show that at Westmont.
Mhm.
All three of those are globs. They're all globulars.
Really, a globular cluster can look just like a single star?
No,
No, if you have a good
Yeah.
scope and it explode with stars.
They're fuzzy, right? So they are stars.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
Well, it
13
depends on the
at,
power you use, M42 to the naked eye kind of looks like a fuzzy star.
okay.
The one that's the most obvious fuzzy star to me is 47 Tucana in the sun. You look at it and it just looks like a fuzzy star. And even a small scope will show it as a magnificent globular cluster. These other ones like M13 and 92 and M3, I have to look at those in a scope to see that they're, I don't see them naked eye. But we don't have really dark skies here very much.
I was just going to say, you can't really even see M13 naked eye because of the light pollution.
turns out
Yeah.
we can't in the backyard lying on our backs on our backs. We can still see it with our eyes
There's Tom bragging about where he lives now.
where we live. It's getting harder though, Jerry. It's getting harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, gentlemen, if you were an astronomer living in northern Canada, would you not be able to see a lot of the stuff we can see down here, but you'd see other stuff that we can't see?
not really. Well, you'd see it more of it would be circumpolar. And there would be
Yeah.
some stuff that we see in the south that you wouldn't see.
Right, right. For example, they couldn't see Canopus, which we can see, that really beautiful bright star
How about Orion?
You
easily.
can see Orion from anywhere in the world.
Right.
You just see
Really?
half of him if you're at the North Pole.
Yeah. So
You
Ron,
see
Orion
lights, too.
belt comes up on the equator, the celestial equator. So a lot of folks can see that.
No kidding. They got 12 hours.
So if you have a passing familiarity with the night sky and the constellations, and you take a trip to Hawaii, and you go out on a dark night, say halfway up Mauna Kea, and look at the night sky, you see 15 degrees on the southern horizon that's not available from California here, from Santa Barbara, Los Angeles area. And look at it, it's very confusing because you don't spot the familiar patterns there that you're used to.
So Jerry, is it time for a Hawaii joke?
You have one?
Oh yeah, I got a great one. You ready?
Here we
Okay,
go.
let's do it.
So there was a fellow who was on the islands many years ago, and he was there for weeks. And when he was checking out at the hotel, he says, I've been here for so long, but I still don't understand. Is it Hawaii, pronounced Hawaii, or is it Hawaii? And the teller said, it's Hawaii. He said, oh, well, thank you. He said, you're welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, on that note,
There's one more though. Wait a minute.
Oh,
In the
it's-
Hawaiian alphabet of Hawaiian language, you pronounce every letter. So it's Hawaii or
Yeah.
a ni'ihau.
No
Because there's
kidding.
two eyes,
They only have 8 or 9 or 10, 11 letters,
16 letters.
Yeah.
15 L's and K's. What's missing? Q and X, Z probably. I don't
there's
see.
not a lot of consonants in there.
Right.
The start of Kamehameha.
Yeah, the Czechoslovakians got all the consonants.
In the polls.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, if you really want to laugh, call up John Prine's song, Let's Talk Dirty in Hawaiian. It'll crack you up. It's
Well,
Great.
Captain Cook on one of his voyages got killed in Hawaii.
Yeah.
all right.
And the story is that there was a sailor that was with him and his son that happened to be in the bushes, and they saw when the Hawaiian natives killed Captain Cook, and then they saw that they were putting him in a large pot and starting to boil him.
Oh my God.
And
Uh-oh.
the kid says to the sailor, he says, "Dad, what's going on here? And the dad says, well, one man's meat is another man's poi, son.
I knew it had to be a joke.
Okay, we're moving on.
If you want to go
So we're
online,
just,
if you want to,
go ahead.
if you want to follow your talking points, we'll go to perihelion and tell everybody what the Earth's going through right now.
Yeah, we're just going to dispel a persistent misconception. I don't have a picture for this, but the Earth reaches at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. The Earth reaches its closest point to the sun, and that has nothing to do with the seasons on the Earth, which are completely due to the tilt of the Earth on its axis, not the closeness to the sun in its orbit, which we are at the closest point. We're like 91 million miles from the sun.
Oh.
91.4. So I heard before when I was in school, some people would claim that sun is where we're closest to the sun. Ain't true.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next topic.
Always
Wolf.
Fourth,
What's the opposite of perihelion?
Aphelion.
aphelion.
And you
Yeah.
have an idea of how far away, how many million miles we pick up when we get farther away?
It's like 3%.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, the Perry,
2
Ron,
million miles.
It's still our astronomical unit. What do we got here?
Our astronomical unit is the average distance.
93 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ron, this is a
And we're
constellation. This is a constellation people in Canada can't see.
Okay, it looks like a
Okay, this month we have two wolves. The full moon, which occurs at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Friday. Let's see, did I put, yeah, Friday. That's known as a wolf moon. And that has nothing to do with the constellation of Wolf this year, which is what we're going to talk about the rest.
lupus.
Lupus was a hare, a rabbit.
So that's Lepus.
Lepus.
That lobo was wolf. That's Spanish. Isn't
The
it?
Spanish,
But you can
In
see how
Polish.
it derives from the Latin.
right? And in Polish, it's Wilk.
And it's a constellation. Rises 2 hours before sunrise. Some of it may not clear the horizon. Above latitude 60 degrees, you won't see anything. If you're south of what are we, south of 35 degrees latitude? See the
34,
yeah,
34, we're 34 north.
okay. Are we really? We're close to the border, provided your south side horizon is clear. There you go. That's
Right.
what-
This is the more southern constellation. As you can see here from the light blue shading and the dark blue, the light blue is parts of the Milky Way. And this is a very rich region, southern summertime skies. It's next to Scorpius.
Centaurus.
All sorts of, what's that?
He's got a centaur on either side. Centaurus
Oh.
on one side and Sagittarius kind of off on the other.
Yeah. So it's a very nice region to look at. A lot of star cloud things, nebula, globular clusters, open clusters, right there. So let's see what the point of that was that it struck me.
Well, your notes say it sits south of Libra, west of Scorpius, east of Centaurus.
Yep.
The alpha star is a bright blue-white magnitude 2.3, meaning you could see it with your eyes.
Yeah, it's a dim star for a bright one. Alpha's right here. It has it is historically called Kakab, but it has no formal IAU name.
Okay.
So I'm going to propose that we may have the IAU name it Pluto. Okay, my jokes take a little longer, folks. But,
Yeah.
so
So Jerry, do you have an idea what those declination circles are there? There's like 3 of them I see in your picture. One near the top, one in the
be
middle.
like here.
No, the
Oh, you
declination.
mean what that is?
Yeah.
One of them
So-
is going to be
Good
minus
question.
60.
Yeah, because here we can
Yeah.
see about minus 56. I mean, technically,
Yeah.
about there. Yeah. So if it's minus 60, yeah, we can't see it.
If it says, and in the blurb I clipped out, if you live 60 degrees north or higher, you will not see any part of Lupus.
Okay. Okay.
So those
So that's
south
the
of
top one
latitude
there.
35, which is us by 1 degree, we can see the entire pattern, provided your southern horizon is clear.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that then this must be about 35 south.
Okay.
Well, 90 minus 35.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, zero is
Yes, correct.
zero is the center. Zero is the equator, and 90.
That's why I said south.
Yes.
Got it.
Go ahead, Baron. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, you know, I think you just maybe you answered. I thought you were answering me. Does zero latitude equal equator, and 90 is the pole?
Yes.
Mhm, that's correct.
And we say plus and minus? In other words,
Yep.
southern hemisphere is
Ye-
minus.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll be damned. But there's little degradations, are there not? 60.45 minutes or seconds or whatever. Do they have that?
Yes.
course.
Mhm.
Whenever I see map coordinates, there's 3 numbers usually. You remember the movie Close Encounters of the First Kind?
Not the
Well,
third.
I would say to answer your question,
Yep.
this one would be 60 degrees. This one would be, this one would be, this would be 30 degrees south. This would be 40
Okay.
degrees south and 50 degrees
Well,
south.
Yeah. Yeah.
So minus 30 is the top one, Jerry.
Yeah,
Mine's-
that'd be my guess.
Yes, we can see that. Yeah. You can see down to about minus 56 in principle.
Do you happen to know what the number for the Arctic Circle would be?
60.
60.
Oh, 60 that is the Arctic Circle. That's the midnight sun.
Yep, that's what it defines the Arctic Circle.
Mhm.
There's a sign you pass somewhere in Oregon or Washington that says you're at the 45th parallel.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Fascinating stuff.
Okay, let's go to,
I didn't see the moon in that picture, did I? But let's go to this, incredible
the
large.
moon is not in that picture.
Oh, it's all right. You know,
Moon will never be in that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in deep trouble if the moon gets in that picture.
This is something,
We only mentioned that the moon is a wolf moon this month, and it will be
Okay.
full on Friday.
that means I'm going to grow extra hair. The
Mhm.
ninth largest meteorite ever found, 15 tons, gives us 2 new
In
minerals.
Somalia.
Yeah, it's-
Ellalite and Elkinstantonite.
wow.
Named after Lindy Elkins Tanton and the village of El Ali, which is where they found it.
And
So these are, minerals are, as you know, combinations of molecules and atoms that form under certain specific conditions. You get nice geodes and quartz crystals, minerals that we've refined into steel and iron and stuff, and things that form off the surface of the earth, say deeply inside the planet, just minerals that we can only reproduce in the lab. It turns out that one of these at least has been reproduced before artificially and was believed to not in nature, but they found in this meteor. There apparently is a shortage of supplies of this meteor, because I think if they get another bigger piece of it, they're likely to find a third new element or no mineral. Now, the reason these minerals are important in space is because a lot of these minerals have elements trapped in them, water held in them, oxygen made out of them, that we need to process. Not likely this mineral. This came from a planet that was differentiated. It was not a surface. It did not form on the surface, apparently. It formed inside the planet.
Can you pronounce the new names, Mr. President?
I took my shot at it, I'd like someone else to take their shot.
All right. Ellalite, that's named after El Al. And
Yeah.
Elconstantonite. Elconstantonite, named for a
Yeah, I
lady.
think that's good.
Yeah, but are they useful to us? Do our bodies need?
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Oh,
It said,
These
look
minerals,
on rapid. It says rapid identification was possible of these two minerals because they had been created synthetically before, and they were able to match the composition of the newly discovered natural minerals with the human-made counterparts. Not every one we find is like that. By the way, on a similar note, we have an experiment that was launched on Perseverance, where there's an instrument that takes Martian atmosphere and emits oxygen out of it. And that instrument was very successful. I just read a report this morning that it is producing what they consider for their instrument to be copious amounts of oxygen.
really?
Yeah, they'll probably have enough so someone could take a breath in a couple months, but
Are we switching over to the Mars Winter Wonderland?
you can. Oh yeah, that's the next topic.
All right.
on this one, before you go away, is this thing translucent like the picture shows?
Oh, it's
Or is that
reflective.
reflection?
But they don't tell us what's in those minerals except for oxygen. You said there's oxygen in there. What else?
Oh no, I said in many minerals, there's oxygen and water. Minerals can be molecules or they can be a structure that traps something, such as a hydrated crystal, and means that it traps H2O in the crystal mechanically, but not bonded to it.
Oh, water hydration.
it. Yeah, so you can get the water out of it.
That's what holds concrete together or cement together, I mean.
But if carbon is in a lot of
Yeah.
minerals, it becomes organic, doesn't it?
It can. There's carbon compounds that are not organic. Yeah,
Is this,
and this is pointing out that concrete is held together by dendritic interaction, mechanical handholding, you might say.
And this is a nickel iron meteorite, so that's steel there, and they polished it. And what you're seeing is a
okay, it
reflection of the
balances out.
ceiling, probably.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go. Surface of Mars. Walking in a winter wonderland. Mars has the same things we got, same seasons. Is that possible in a little planet?
It does roughly. Smaller versions of them, they're farther away. All of them are colder than we would like.
And they're actually longer than our seasons because it's 2 years around the sun.
That's
so-
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years instead of one.
But it's tilted, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
Almost
the
like
same as
ours.
Earth.
Almost like ours is. Yeah.
Tom, what did you say, Tom?
Oh, almost like ours. I think it's about 26 degrees on the tilt, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, probably
We're
one.
Well, the
Green.
first one is the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which captured an image of frost-covered Martian dunes
Wow.
far north of the equator, 2 days after the local winter solstice arrived on Mars last July. And this ice, I believe, is dry ice, not water ice. Doesn't say.
Frozen.
But at the Martian poles, temperature can be as low as 190 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 190 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Well, regular frost or ice is H2O frozen and dry ice is CO2 frozen, right?
Yep.
Correct. Yes.
We're talking
At
one.
these pressures, though, you will not find any liquid CO2.
Well, what are we looking at here? Mountains?
Sand dunes.
Yeah, these are sand dunes. See, and these are dunes, but with frost on them.
Is Perseverance down there where we're looking?
No, this is from a satellite. It is from,
Probably Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter.
yeah. I should do a better job of highlighting names like that. Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter.
One of our regular drones.
MR.
One of our regular drones that we have down here would not work on Mars. They had to do two rotating blades, I think, counter.
Well, that's just for a tail rotor.
You have to make bigger blades and you have to make them move faster. Air's too thin.
And is there a little solar panel on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what is this?
This is the rim of a crater that shows significant erosion around the edges. Whether that erosion is due to liquid or due to dust, I think the winning hypothesis there, or the favored one, is that it's a liquid, but it's actually carbon dioxide frost inside the crater in Mars' southern hemisphere.
Okay, the crater part is the lower part of the picture, right? And that
this is the terrain outside of the crater. This is the lip of the crater here, and then this is the inner wall below that. So this layer was probably harder or something, and then this is a layer of softer material that's been eroded. One theory is that water is contained in these layers, and when it warms, it causes little rivulets that run down and do this erosion. It does look very much like water erosion.
okay, but most of Mars's water is long gone. There's some still there frozen, right? Especially on the poles.
Yeah.
It got sucked into space over millennia. Where did it go?
It gets eroded away by the solar wind if it's in vapor form. The ultraviolet light from the sun breaks it up into the hydrogen and oxygen, and then those individual atoms get tossed out.
But do you suppose the bottom line in their theories is that Mars just had rivers, maybe a few lakes? It didn't have oceans, did it?
Seems to have, yeah.
Oceans.
Yes.
Wow. Well, then those would be vast chasms like your Maris on
Yeah,
the moon.
drawing were filled like Desiree Crater was once a lake, a giant lake. It has an obvious delta in it that was active billions of years ago. It says so far no orbiters or rovers able to see snowfall on the red planet because the weather phenomena only occur at the poles beneath cloud cover at night. Cameras on the orbiters can't peer through the clouds, and no robotic explorers have been developed that could survive the freezing temperatures at the poles.
Wow.
However, the Mars Climate Sounder instrument on the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter can detect light that's invisible to the human eye. It has made the detections of carbon dioxide snow falling at the Martian pole. The Phoenix lander, which arrived on Mars in 2008, also used one of the laser instruments to detect water, ice, snow from its spot at about 1,000 miles away from the Martian North Pole.
Huh.
So there is weather phenomena on a local basis.
And apparently your New Year's on Mars was a week ago, 12/26, according to your notes. Also,
Oh, yeah.
Also, snowflakes, which is frozen water, look, they're 6-pointed crystals, but dry ice is a cube shape. I'd love to see a picture.
Yeah.
Guess we don't
It
have.
would look just like a square.
Really? Oh, dang.
So this is thawing frost, creating unique patterns on Martian dunes during the spring of July 2021.
What do you think the dark areas are? Transported dirt?
What's that again?
What do you think the dark areas are in this picture? Transported debris?
I don't know. I don't know, but there's a complicated explanation for dark structures that look like plants in polar regions of layers under the ice that thaw first and erupt through the ice. And I know before he passed away, I know someone here knows Arthur C. Clarke very well, but Arthur C. Clarke claimed that we would discover plant life on Mars from those pictures, but other geological explanations have won the day.
Yeah, they call them spiders too because of their shape.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, here's some of the real spider looking.
Ice frozen in the soil that left polygon patterns on the Martian surface. Now I know in our tundra regions of near the North Pole, it leaves these kinds of patterns, but I think they're hexagonal.
Yeah.
I think former salt lakes, maybe the bottom of Death Valley has salt laid out like that.
Yeah.
1,000 feet thick of it.
Jeez. Amazing. So Mars gets a
So on
spring.
September 26th was the arrival of the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere on Mars.
Dang.
By the way, we have arbitrarily labeled the northern spring equinox in 1955 as the beginning of the Martian calendar.
And Mars does or does not have a magnetic field.
It has a very, very weak one.
That's why it lost its atmosphere.
Yeah, partially, yes.
Whereas we protected with that big, that field of lines, magnetic lines. Oh. Do you have the picture, Mr. President, of Mars rise on the moon? Our moon sees Mars rising beyond it. December 7th, there was somebody took, is that it?
Yeah. This is the moon or Mars coming out from behind the moon from an occultation. This was taken December 7th by an amateur using a 10-inch scope, and taken from Moore Park, California.
Oh, more
Coming up on the 30th, we get that again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, do you suppose the Webb telescope at its Lagrange point could see a occultation of Mars by the moon?
It would see its own occultation sometimes. We don't, but not when we see an occultation because it's at a different point in space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the moon is interior to, toward the sun from Webb, and Mars is exterior, so they're never going to occult each other from the point of view of the Webb.
But now, is this a full moon?
Well, they will, but the Webb will never look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, no, it would be a really, really narrow angle where they could do that. Yeah.
And that was when the moon was practically full on.
Yeah. Although on this next one coming up, the moon will be in more of a gibbous phase. So you'll get to see Mars disappear behind the dark limb of the moon.
Okay.
I didn't know Earth-based telescopes could take a picture of the moon that good. That's almost
This is an amateur from Moore Park.
I know, but it looks like it's an orbiter.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what telescopes do. They bring it up close.
Yeah, the resolution isn't as good as you'd get from an orbiter, but it looks
Now,
nice.
When we do our outreach and little kids look through the telescope for the first time, and their exclamation is not, "Oh, it's magnified." It's, "Oh, it brings it up close." So,
And so just for the record books, the Webb is about 4 times further out than the moon, and it's not orbiting technically the planet Earth.
No, it's not. It's orbiting the sun.
Okay.
It's orbiting the ultimate point.
it's flying in formation with the Earth around the sun.
Mhm.
For the Webb to look at the moon, it'd have to turn around and look toward us, and it wouldn't work because the sun's there, right? They want to keep it hidden and cold. What is this?
Yeah. This is a basic physics diagram of a
There you go.
metastable point.
Metastable.
What's
Got
that?
it. I got it. Metastable.
Metastable means temporarily stable.
Mhm.
So here's energy, and here's some axis that energy has a function over. In this case, this position at 1 is a rest state, unless an amount of threshold energy is supplied to get it to point 2, at which it will go down to a lower stable, truly stable point, say a ground state. Because of elementary particle physics theories and properties of the Higgs boson and the top quark, it's believed that the universe that we live in is in a metastable point. Now, for example, metastable is, for example, you have a piece of firewood, and that firewood is a stable thing, but it's not metastable. If you take a match and you light the firewood on fire, the firewood will burn up. The match that you put will cause part of the wood to go up to point 2, and then the fire will consume it, and it will turn to ash, which is the stable point. And the heat generated from the part of it that has burned will supply the threshold energy to the rest of it that hasn't burned. And eventually the entire thing will be burned and it will all be ashes. And then it will have gone from point 1 down to point 3. So that's an illustration of metastable. The universe, when it first started, was very hot and very dense. And the forces that we know, the classical four forces, gravity, electricity, and magnetism, the weak and the strong force, these were believed to all be one force. And as the universe cooled, these forces separated. And it's believed that there's one more separation to go. And this is a conclusion from the Standard Model and the numerical properties of the Higgs boson and the top quark. They think that those two each represent a separate force, have not separated yet, and that gives this metastable position. Nobody knows what the stable position of our universe is. No one knows this threshold energy for how stable it is. It could be that it's unstable and farther than we know and can see, it's already started doing its burning. But anyway, it's just something to keep you awake at night if you like to dwell on negative aspects. So, and it's the theories are not ironclad on this topic yet either. It's an interesting idea. I've heard it since. Go ahead.
If everybody sneezes at once, we may, disrupt the universe.
Push us over the limit. Yeah.
Well, does the word meta mean unstable?
No, it means
temporarily. Partial.
Okay, wow. Could we talk just for a minute about those four forces? I got some of it down. I know gravity's not as pervasive as electromagnetism, but there's a lot more of it, I guess. How many magnetars are out there? But everything's magnetized.
Gravity spans the entire universe, just as the Higgs field spans the entire universe. And so does electromagnetic fields. And then the weak force and the strong force. Those are the four forces.
All right.
Gravity, weak, strong, electromagnetic.
Those two that you mentioned that nobody knows about, the strong force is what keeps the 2 protons or 3 protons, however many protons are in the nucleus of an atom together, right? Because they're the same charge.
You mean quarks, not protons.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, protons are positive charged. Isn't there?
Yes, but
whereas the electrons are negative. That's all part of the electromagnetic.
Yes. One force holds the protons next to each other.
Yeah.
Even though they don't like each other.
But when you're talking about 3, you're meaning the 3 quarks that are in a proton. Okay. There are many protons in something like uranium.
Is one of those 3 quarks the top quark Jerry was talking about?
Yeah.
Is there a top and a bottom and a middle, or what?
There's a whole family of quarks.
They've got strange names. That's a joke.
But is the weak force, that's the 4th one, have to do with radiation?
Yeah.
Decay. Yeah, decay.
It shoots out particles? Is that what it would do? Just the
particles under some conditions can get away from the weak force. The weak force can't hold them in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So
now we used to be an electric field and a magnetic field. We now know those are 2 of the same. There's different aspects of the same thing, so we call it the electromagnetic field. And the other thing is that the weak force and the electromagnetic force appear to be two aspects of the same thing. So it's called the electroweak force.
Right.
Okay, but force means attracting. Reasons
It's
for
a field. It's
Could
a,
be repulsive.
or the other way
Yeah.
around.
it's a field.
Hmm.
The
And the
only
strong-
one, yeah.
The strong force is unique in that the more you try to pull something away, the stronger it pulls on it.
But fission will knock those protons apart, won't it?
Yeah, I've had girlfriends like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is a new type now, and this is basically pretty pictures. A good way to end the show. This is the Crescent Nebula. I know you can't see the crescent in there. This is an excellently processed image,
Yeah.
and with a big scope. And the Crescent Nebula is actually this shape right here, and this part of it right there. But you can see all this background dark structure with detail in it. This, in my view, is the epitome of excellent astro image processing. This is just a beautiful thing. But what you see in an amateur telescope is this picture
Mm-hmm.
that I took in my backyard with a 10-inch telescope.
That's
And there again is the Crescent Nebula with its center tail going down like that. Now this,
The large
Let's see
gas and
here.
dust field somewhere in the Milky Way.
It's up in Cygnus.
Not a distant galaxy, it's a dust field creating stars.
Well, no,
Okay.
this is being blown off by that
it's
Wolf-Rayet
known
star
as
there.
NGC.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Also called NGC 6888 and the Caldwell
Mhm.
27 and the Sharpless 105. Take your pick.
Yep. There you go. Yeah, I've seen it in my screen. Filters help. An 03 filter will help.
So I think this is the one that some people call Van Gogh's ear. Oh, that's what Tim just texted too. Van Gogh's ear.
So that's where it ended up.
Yeah.
I thought he mailed it to a girlfriend.
Is that colored right? Is it supposed to be kind of reddish?
Colors
Mhm.
are all false colors.
That's hydrogen.
Okay.
That's an amazing shot, Jerry. You took that?
Yeah, and processed it.
That's gorgeous.
But thanks.
That
And
long,
there
that long 10-inch, that real long 10-inch you have?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
sure.
You want to know the facts? William Herschel discovered it in 1792, and it's
Okay.
5,000 light years away. Now, what part of Cygnus, the Swan, is it?
Oh, sort of cross piece, Chuck?
Boy,
Yeah,
you'd have to
that's
ask
tough.
Joe or
Yeah,
Tim.
Tim would know. Tim would know.
Yeah, we could wait for Tim to text here. I'm gonna say neck region, but that's sort of cheating because so much of Cygnus is neck.
Yeah, okay.
Huh.
That's a fabulous shot.
Thanks. Anyway, I don't know how much of me you heard because my computer keeps cutting in and out here.
Hmm.
But it's the crescent part is caused by two colliding winds from the Wolf-Rayet star that is the star here.
Mhm.
Tim says just below the cross piece.
Aha, so I was close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim Crawford.
Yeah.
So colliding waves or winds, stellar winds.
Yeah, stellar winds.
Is it from the
And
same?
they hit and they excite X-ray emitting temperature gas to X-ray emitting temperatures, and that's what you see as the red stuff. Well, no, not X-rays. That's what you see at the other picture, getting them too mixed up. This one, you see X-rays because this is taken by it's taken at 12 microns infrared from the WISE All Sky Survey.
Wow.
And this was processed by an amateur using FITS Liberator, PixInsight, and Photoshop.
I see.
And all
Mine
that.
was just crossed by, what is it, Deep Sky, no, I forget the name of Photoshop, basically. And CCD Stack 2.
Wow.
Well, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
It's a crescent. It's a new one on me.
Mhm.
Haven't had a variable star featured lately, but we're sure doing a lot of star clusters and crescent nebulas. Boy, I learned a
Yeah.
lot. Thank you for the addendum, and we learned a lot this
That's really nice.
session, gentlemen. We've run out of time, but we have started the new year, and on Friday night, we're going to assemble at Farron Hall, what, 6:30, 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
That's
Officially 7 o'clock with a 30-minute planetarium show, and then 7:30 the meeting starts.
all right, and we may or may not have a speaker, depending on if Night Sky Network gets back to me.
We will have a speaker. We just don't know
will
who
have
it is.
somebody. It might be one of you gentlemen. Well, take care of yourselves, keep your health
Yeah.
up, and it's good to see you and good to have this discussion. I learned so much.
As usual,
Okay.
Jerry, thank you for the fabulous note.
All right, we're all going to get some bread from Tom, I'm sure.
Happy New Year. Bye.